all the friends from all the social media platforms. We are CGTN. We're going live at Singapore's first insect farm in the heart of Singapore. Standing right next to me is Darren Ho. He is one of the co-founders of this company called Insectta. What they do is they raise flies, the black soldier flies, and they use these flies to work on food waste. Darren, take away.
So hi, welcome to the first insect farm. The first thing I want to show you is the waste that we collect from the brewery grains. So these are just grains that they use to brew the beer. After they brew the beer, normally they will either feed it to animals like pigs or goats. But in Singapore, we don't really have much of that. And that's why we saw an opportunity to take that waste and turn it into a product that can be value added, right, by feeding them to the insect. So this is the entire life cycle of the black soldier fly insect, from the larvae, where they are this is the only time where they are eating the waste, the pupae where they are waiting for them to hatch into a fly, and then the fly will then lay the eggs, and the entire lifespan is only about 6 weeks. Up till now, we are able to control the entire breeding process for each of these stages, which we'll show you in a second on how they can.
So when they were larvae, it's the time that they're working on the food waste.
Yes,
right?
that's where.
Yeah, you shared with me that they can actually convert 3 tons of food waste into 1 ton of fertilizers.
That's right.
Which can be used for other farms.
That's right. That's right.
And then in this healthy circle, you actually come up with 2 byproducts.
Yep.
So you have this larvae to work on the food waste, which
Correct.
is great. And then when they turn into pupae, you sell them.
Yep.
For livestock feed, right?
We can sell them at these stages.
At this stage as well?
At this stage as well. We can harvest them and dry them, and they become a source of protein.
For animals.
Exactly,
pets.
for pets and animals.
And they're organic.
Yes, they're as organic as they're animal protein, so it's very pure.
Right, right.
The fertilizer is the other byproduct that comes out of these stages as well.
Right.
That is their poop.
Right, so the fertilizers, and you can also sell that.
That's right.
So you told me that this black soldier fly, you actually caught them yourself in Singapore.
Yep.
What was the story?
So we were deciding which insect to farm in Singapore, right? And there was the cricket, there was the mealworms, and then of course there was the black soldier fly. So when we knew that the black soldier fly was just flying around, but we couldn't find them, so we went out to hunt for them in the northern part of Singapore in the forest. So that's where we trapped our first ever batch of black soldier, and from there it populated into more and more and more.
So you had maybe 100 or less than 100?
I couldn't count. We managed to trap the eggs, which was a few thousand, I'm sure.
Right. And now, how many do you have?
Now,
hundreds of thousands.
Now we would have, way more than that. Yeah, let's go see.
I can already smell.
So this is how we cultivate our insect. As you can see, these are the larvae.
Come and take a look. You see the larvae, the wiggly worms.
So these are the grains. All these are the grains that we fed them from outside, right? And then when we feed them, and from a very small larvae they become to the size that you see now.
So
after about 1 to 2
egg
weeks.
Period till now. How long did that take?
It's about 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks in total.
Okay.
So they are almost ready to become a pupae already, but right now they're still eating away at the waste.
Food waste.
Correct.
That
these are the grains. That's right. The grains and the okara. Yeah.
So right now you get your food waste from beer breweries.
Yep, a microbrewery.
And soya milk.
And soya milk presses. Correct. That's right.
But going forward, you think it's possible for these larvae to work on the consumer food waste, the leftovers?
These larvae are actually meant to break down those food waste. They can break down any waste as organic, from vegetables to processed to meat and rice. They love those post-consumer stuff. But of course, we have to see how the regulations are able to cope with that as well, because we need to be regulated if you want to do food, right?
Right, yeah.
So we're working quite closely with our AVA to see what they can do
Because that would be a great idea.
it would
Singapore
be-
has quite a lot of food
Yeah,
waste,
that's the
right?
reason why we decided to do the black soldier fly, is to break down all those food waste,
Right.
and not just the food manufacturing waste. So there's food manufacturing waste and there's consumer waste. We have to work on both,
Yeah.
but we can't do that now until the regulations are
Yeah.
kept up to
So
date.
what kind of quantity are we talking about now in your premise now?
We're doing about 1.5 tons of waste a week in
Okay.
total. So we're maybe doing about 10 to 20 kg consistently every week as well
Okay.
of the protein of the larvae.
So from this stage, they become pupae.
Yeah, that's right.
And how do they look like?
Come, I'll show you the
Alright,
pupae.
we can work. And these are the eggs, are
Yeah.
they?
So the pupae look a little bit like this. I'll come out.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, it's coming out.
Sorry.
Sorry.
That was live. It didn't go in your mouth, did it?
No, in my mouth. Ah!
So this is the pupae.
Interesting.
So now
What
they're
about these?
really
Why they
these
look
are
dried
they,
up?
they shed their skin.
Oh.
Yeah, so as they get bigger, before they become a fly, they'll keep shedding their skin until they harden up.
How does it feel when you touch them?
A bit soft, still a bit soft. So you can just touch them. These are not as bad as that one. You can just put your hand there.
Okay, I'm gonna just try. Ah! Sorry.
So now they're
No,
still
they don't bite.
now they're still a bit soft, but when they become a hardened pupae,
So,
think I can find them
do
here.
animals love the soft ones or the hard ones?
the soft ones, of course.
The soft
Yeah,
ones.
the soft ones. They prefer the soft ones.
Different texture.
Yeah, easier to digest.
So
There's not many hard ones yet, but they will pretty much become frozen. You can imagine them as frozen.
So you put them in freezer.
No. As in, they will just like freeze up.
Oh, okay.
They will
okay.
just stop moving.
Yeah.
And that's when you know that they're ready to become a fly. I can't
So
find
when
any
you
of them.
sell them, they are alive.
Yes, they're alive.
Oh. So
Yeah.
that you have to go through stringent ABA
Yes, of course.
requirements and
Of
all
course,
that,
of course.
right?
Yeah.
And your clients are
Pet
traditional
shops.
farmers? Pet
That's
shops.
right. Pet
okay.
shops.
Yeah.
A few of them are big pet shops that breed fish as well.
Mostly in
In
Singapore.
Singapore, all
right
in
now.
Singapore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Some for your dogs maybe. Dogs will like that.
Not necessarily.
So
Not
what,
all
so
of
when
them.
you say you sell
Mostly
to
are
pet-
fishes,
fishes
and
okay.
ornamental birds. So like pet birds like shamas, fishes like arowanas, koi. They love this kind of stuff.
Okay. Okay. So this
Yeah.
is the second stage.
Yeah.
And then you have the flies
Yeah,
to continue to produce
that's right.
eggs.
That's right.
How many flies do you have? Will you take a peek? Maybe the
Sure.
camera?
You
Yeah.
can just go into
Okay.
just take a peek in that.
Okay.
This go. You can go and see.
Careful of that fan. I don't wanna.
It's gonna fly again.
Whoa.
So this is
whoa.
where the insect is, the mating chamber.
Wow.
Yeah.
When I was doing research, I read about in Singapore you're the first insect farm, but they do that in other
Yeah.
countries and regions.
Yeah.
I think it was in Canada. This farm they were finding way to get the black soldier flies to mate.
Yeah.
So this farmer he read online like you need to play certain type of music. Was that a problem for you?
No. For us, they survive really well in our tropical environment. So all they need is just a good light, the daylight that will allow them to do this and
So
mate.
these black soldier flies are native to Singapore, so they're the happiest here.
Yeah, well, they're not native. They are naturalized. I think literature has said that they are from South America.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then they migrated somehow. They went through the food.
And the
everything.
size of them, because I know that in NUS scientists are actually working on
to breed a superfly.
to breed like
Yeah, a big
the
one.
hungriest,
Yeah.
the super
Yeah, that's right.
recyclers.
That's right.
Are they going to be much bigger than these?
I'm not sure exactly what they are doing, but yes, they're supposed to be bigger. That's what
Okay.
they're supposed to do. Bigger, better insects.
So
yeah.
now they're working on the. What are these containers? What
These are just the larvae for the pupae that they will hatch out from.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. All
Yeah.
right.
And the fertilizers?
I'll show you where the fertilizers are.
Yeah.
we can go out now.
Thank you.
No worries.
So if you have any question about this insect farms, any questions to our urban farmer Darren, please write us in. We'll try to get the answers for you. So we've seen the flies, we've seen their larvae, which working tirelessly on food waste. We also see the pupae, which you can sell to, it's a byproduct you can sell to pet shops to feed fishes and birds. And Darren's going to show us after the larvae chewed on the food waste, it turned into fertilizers, which is going to be used in traditional soil-based farms.
So the insects are fed to the chicken,
Yeah.
right? And then the...
Oh, you mean you feed the pupae?
Yeah,
the
the larvae, the larvae.
The larvae?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
and
the
then,
worms, yeah.
And then most of the compost will be used to spread around here. So you can tell all the shells are also here.
Oh,
Right,
yeah,
so
yeah,
same
yeah.
thing. All the compost are mixed inside already. So these are all mixed up of different
What kind
composts.
of vegetable is that?
This is a corn.
Corn.
Yeah, baby corn. They're not ready yet.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can tell the entire bed here was used to used with compost
Right.
that we
right.
take from the black soldier fly larvae.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, tell us a little bit about where we are. This whole place is called Citizen Farm.
That's right.
So, Insectta, the insect farm, is just one of them, right?
No. So Insect Farm and Citizen Farm are two different entities. The Insect Farm is its own entity.
Okay.
They're just using the same space.
I
It's the same
see.
address, same space. So it's
Okay.
two farms in one address.
Okay.
Yeah, Citizen Farm is an urban farm that grows vegetables, mushrooms, microgreens, and all these different type of crops around here. I'll show you the mushroom and the containers later. Then the
Okay.
Insect Farm only takes in the food waste
Right.
and then supplies the
So
fertilizer.
it
for
sort
the
of
farm.
has its own ecosystem.
That's right.
You
It's meant
try
to have-
to do this. Don't get anything waste. You have
Yeah.
a circular economy
Exactly.
happening.
Exactly. That's the idea.
So the fertilizers come here to,
Yeah.
to this.
And
You
then the
use
food
the
is grown and the food is sold to the restaurants and community again. So in one whole
Right.
one whole in looped economy.
Right. We heard. You mentioned there's also an indoor
Yeah,
farm. Will you take a
exactly.
look?
Yes, come, we'll show you. Should we see the mushroom first?
Sure.
Okay. I'll show you how to harvest the mushroom.
Okay.
Because the vegetable one's upstairs, then we can go up.
Yeah. So we're getting into a mushroom farm, and Darren told me that there's a particular way to harvest mushroom, and he's going to let me try. So it's a temperature controlled area?
Yeah, so it's a cool room
Yeah.
where we don't we block out the sun, the heat, so that the mushroom can stay moist and dark environment, which is what they
They're
they used to
beautiful.
grow.
Look at that.
So these are our pink oyster mushrooms, right? They have different shades of pink. So let me show you an example of how to harvest them. So first you open your hand like that, and then you find out where the little angle is, right? Here, the cap, you see there's a cap here. So you go like that, and then you pull out. So you just go from here to there, and then you pull out the whole thing like that.
You have to take out the whole thing.
That's right. You can take this one out.
Okay.
Yeah.
This one it looks ready.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope
Just
I
pull,
don't
just
break
pull,
it.
just pull. It's okay.
There
Yeah.
you go. Yay.
One little
And they're
oyster, pink oyster
beautiful.
mushrooms.
Yeah.
You want
These
to
are
try another
very-
one?
These are very yummy too, with just.
So one same thing. Go in between here
That's a
and then
big
pull it
one.
out. Yeah, it's meant to
Okay.
be. So when you see the mushrooms so you see the caps, right? Most of the caps are pointing down. Like this one is pointing down.
Yeah.
The moment they start to go up higher,
Yeah.
that's when you know it's a bit too late. So you want to quickly harvest them out
Oh,
already.
okay.
Yeah,
There you go. Nicely
Straight
done.
out.
And, ooh,
That's right.
ooh,
It's okay, it's
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, okay, here you go. So these are. What are these?
So these are mushroom bags. Mushroom normally grow on conditions like on damp wood and rotting wood, right? In those forest area.
forest,
So these are actually sawdust. So they're wood chips pretty much, very fine wood chips,
Okay.
and that's where they extract the energy from, and then they convert the decomposing energy into the mushroom that you see today. So what you eat in the mushroom are actually the fruit of the mushroom, but there's a lot of mycelium inside there that has colonized the mushroom bags before they are able to fruit out. Yeah, so as you can tell, the bags will get smaller and smaller and smaller as
they
more
will get
mushrooms come out.
smaller?
Yeah, because they are taking up way more energy from the bag. Yeah, it's like a battery, right? It keeps giving you mushrooms, and so it keeps getting smaller and smaller until there's nothing, almost nothing left.
Okay.
Then afterwards, when the mushrooms are harvested, we can then use the bag as compost again. Yeah, so
again, nothing goes
everything,
to waste.
yes, everything is used up. That's the idea.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're creating a natural environment for this.
Yeah, exactly.
Can I do another one? That was
You
fun.
can do as many as you want. There's a lot. Here, this one.
Okay, let's find which one is ready.
This one and this one.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
There we go.
So directly out, correct. That's on. Good one.
Yay! Pink mushroom. Oh, yeah.
That's fine.
Okay.
Cool.
So all these technology was in place before you guys started
No,
this, right? Or
no.
it was more like a trial.
There was nothing here that was in place until.
I mean, these mushroom bags.
Oh yeah, this has been done for a long time.
Okay,
These
okay.
mushroom bags
Oh, look at these
have been around
mushrooms.
for a long time, and we're just trying to figure out the best way to grow them.
So these are sold to restaurants or
Yes, so
retail
yes,
consumers
so
as well?
we're selling most of our produce will go to either the restaurants or the consumers. So it's either B2B or B2C. The restaurants make up half of our revenue and our business. The other half are our consumers directly. So we harvest all these mushrooms and our vegetables and our greens, and then you put them in a box, and the box goes to every family
Right.
that orders. Every week they order a little bit. So the idea is that every week they get something fresh, something different from our sometimes they get the golden oyster, sometimes they get the pink oyster, sometimes they get a white oyster. Sometimes they get lettuce, sometimes they get kale. So it's a mixture of our
You
produce.
actually don't see this kind of mushrooms often in the
Supermarkets,
traditional wet market or
Yeah.
supermarkets, right?
Yeah. So
Are they like gourmet mushrooms?
yeah. So there are two reasons why people buy mushroom. Apart from the fact that they're nutritious. So mushrooms like shiitake and portobello, they're very flavorful.
Yeah.
They're very different. They're very like a lot of umami, right? Oyster mushrooms will also have some flavor and umami, but they are more known for their texture. So they're very chewy, like meat.
Yeah.
So vegetarians or people who are trying to be a little bit more sustainable and eating less meat,
Okay.
they want to buy something chewy so then they can bite on their food. They're very good sauce and flavor absorber as well. They're like sponge. When you
Okay.
fry them in a good sauce or with like a good herbs and spices, they will
Yeah.
absorb it very well.
Yeah.
Then they can taste like a good meat. So they're very good meat substitute. Very, very, very nutritious in protein as well.
Right.
So people like different mushrooms for different reasons. The oyster is really about the texture, and the oyster and the pink and the golden oyster. Apart from the beautiful color, the texture is what people like it for. Yeah.
Speaking of herbs, let's go visit your
Yes.
microgreen.
No, we're gonna go leafy greens. Yeah. Be careful, it's quite slippery.
Yeah.
Did you guys close the door?
Which door? Oh yeah.
No. Can you close the door?
Close
Sorry.
please. We want to keep the mushrooms in a cool environment. So as you can see, this is quite interesting. This is was actually a container, and they converted a container into all these indoor farms, and really speaks Singapore. Traditionally, it's a shipping financial hub, and now in the heart of the Singapore, you have a group of people who are doing farming works.
Sorry, should I stay with you?
No, it's
No,
okay.
okay.
Yeah.
So we're standing on top of a container. This is a shipping container,
A shipping container.
right? The shipping container that we have converted into an indoor farming container. Why? Because Singapore's land is so limited. Containers, you can stack them, you can move them anywhere you want, right? They're very modular and they're very scalable. So the idea of having to put them in shipping containers where Singapore has so many of, we have so many different types of containers and no one knows what to do with them. So if we can maybe change it and turn it into a indoor farming technique, then that will be something that we can consider. Just close the door when you're done.
Yeah. So this is a hydroponic system?
Yeah. Sliding door. Sliding door. No, the sliding door. Yeah. Yeah, so this is an indoor hydroponic system where the water comes from a reservoir. The reservoir has the nutrients. Water pumps up. It comes down again in each of the tunnels, the gullies.
And
Then
you put fertilizers in the water?
yeah, of course, yeah. The plants need nutrients to grow.
And that's
so
from your...
some of it, not all of it. Some
Not
of it,
all of it,
yeah,
okay.
some of it.
And then this goes here, so these...
The water will flow back down here, and then they will recalibrate again.
Okay.
And then the water will pump back up again. So it's the type of hydroponic system. It's called a nutrient flow technique. Yeah. So the nutrients are always flowing.
Okay.
Yeah. So the plants are always slowly absorbing because the water is always flowing. You can see from here the water is always flowing. It's always moving.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
What kind of
So,
vegetable is that?
This is a gem lettuce.
It's
Yeah. So it's a very common sweet lettuce that you find in your buffet salad. People also like them in burgers if the leaf are big enough. But they're mostly used for a fresh salad.
so most of the vegetables sold in this farm are for like salad use, not for stir fry though.
Some are for stir fry. Like we have some kale. They're used for stir fry, but majority of them are used for fresh salad. Yes, you're right.
I mean, also the good point is they grew in a very controlled environment,
Yeah.
so they're very clean. In a
Yes,
sense, right?
exactly. So they're very consistent as well because the temperature. So the reason why we do indoor farming, I can turn on the light for you. So the reason why we do indoor farming, so the reason why we do indoor farming is everything is always constant. So outside in our normal temperature in Singapore, sometimes you get rainy, sometimes it gets really dry, sometimes it gets really hot.
Yeah.
So the temperature fluctuates too much.
Yeah.
But here in the indoor environment, the light is always the same. The water temperature is always the same. The ambient temperature, like the environment, is always the same as well. So the plants grow a lot more consistently. So the quality and consistency is always the same. But if you rely on the environment, especially with climate change, you never know the unpredictability of the weather. So that could pose a problem to us. Yeah, and also you don't need any pesticides or because you're indoor, so you don't need to rely on pesticides or harmful chemicals.
We've got some questions from netizens. They're asking you some tips on how to grow organic mushrooms.
Okay.
Can they do some of that at home or?
Yeah. So organic mushroom. Okay. So mushrooms are in itself already organic. So we don't spray any chemicals. It's grown naturally, meaning to say we give them the environment that's natural. So instead of putting them from the forest, we take the forest and put them in a bag, right? So yeah, you can buy those bags as well. You can put them in your room, put them under your kitchen, right? Put them in your little storeroom cabinet or whatever. Just leave it there, and then they'll start to fruit again. The mushroom will start to come out again. As long as you keep it damp, moist, a bit moist, dark, and enough airflow. Cool, of course, yes. Cool and enough airflow.
What kind of temperature are we talking about?
No more than 26, 27. You want to keep it below than that. Yeah, so if you go above, then it's a bit hard for the mushrooms to come out. Yeah, they like it when it's cool. That's why they always survive in the forest floor, because it's always cool. Right? In a forest environment, it's always cool.
Yeah. You actually conduct quite a lot of workshops and talks in this farm, right?
Yeah.
So people can come and do you encounter a lot of Singaporeans come and they want to grow their own little edible garden?
Yes. So ever since we took over this space to do urban farming, we have had a lot of interest from people asking how to grow, what to grow, why does it do this, why does it do that, and that's why we decided to create a lot of programs. So the mini tour that I did for you all is similar to what a student or a corporate would come and see the farm to understand how farmers grow. Workshops are very important when we engage the consumers, right? Because if they don't know what is good for them, they will not buy it. So we're here to show them that our food, the way we farm is sustainable and that they like it. So through these workshops, we're able to sort of give them the assurance, and also then they know, oh, now I know how it's grown. So it's knowledge for them. And in that sense, we hope that then they can support more of these local farmers in our country.
Is there anything else you want to show us?
No, that's all.
So you have the mushroom farm, vegetable farm.
Vegetable farm. I can show you the gardens.
Gardens.
I can show you the
Okay,
gardens.
let's go
That's the
look
last
at
stop
it.
we can go and see.
Okay. Darren, the people are asking, do you use any chemical for the farming process?
No,
Yeah.
we don't use harmful chemicals. Give me 1 second.
Yeah.
Hey Van, I'll see you in a second. Could you just wait there for me? Just 1 minute. I'll show you to this garden.
Sure.
Did you close the door? Yeah, thanks.
Is being a farmer a 24/7 job?
24/7, 365 days a year.
Is
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, every day.
So you work all weekends?
Depending, so we have
take
harvest.
shifts,
Yeah, we have harvest days.
Yeah.
So that's when everybody comes in to harvest. So weekends are not really much of a harvest day. So it's more of a farm maintenance and kind of making sure that everything in the farm is okay. So it's not really a heavy operation day, right? So
Right.
that's not a full day. But Monday to Friday is like a full day. A lot of propagation, a lot of a lot of nursery work, a lot of putting a lot of compost, making sure that everything is running right.
Right.
Yeah.
How big is your team now?
We got a team of 10 full-timers and about 6 or 7 part-timers.
Yeah. And I noticed they're all millennials. They're all young. I mean, yourself too. You
Yeah.
were in the banking industry
Yeah,
before.
that's right.
And now, how do you feel of being a farmer?
So I think when I was in the banking industry, I realized that I wouldn't be able to last in that because I'm just not suited to be in an office environment. That's why I decided to explore the world a little bit more, and I realized what food is, what farming is, and that really got me attracted to it. And ever since I got into the farming world, I'm not saying that it's easier than the banking. In fact, I think it's tougher because you're dealing with, as a farmer, one day you're a farmer, you're always a farmer, right? So one day you're an engineer, you're fixing up some parts. Another day you're a businessman, you have to talk terms. Another day you're an engineer, you need to, so every day you're a banker, lawyer, you're everything as a farmer. You have to learn everything.
Modern farming.
That is the modern farming, yeah. So I wouldn't say it's easier, but it's a lot more fulfilling and a lot more, you get a sense of satisfaction when you farm something really well and people like your produce. Chefs and restaurants, they want to support you, so you feel good about it. I think farms are extremely important to become more sustainable, to make the world a lot more sustainable. Everything starts from the land, right? Your clothes you wear, the food you eat, everything comes from the land. So you need to find a way to farm them properly.
I mean, you belong to this very small group of people in Singapore wants to help tackle the food safety issue. I mean, in Singapore, we import more than 90% of
That's
our
right.
food.
Yeah.
Maybe only 3% are grown locally.
Yep.
So you're in the industry that it's very, very small.
Yeah.
And how do you see your future?
I think as our population increases and as other Southeast Asian population increases, so we get most of our food from Southeast Asia.
Right. Malaysia,
As
vegetable,
Indonesia, exactly. As all their population increases, they will also want to start feeding their own country.
Yep.
And that's why I think Singapore has embarked on this really important step into trying to make us a lot more resilient and sustainable against all these food security problems around the world. And that's why we have a 30% by 2030 kind of goal to reach.
30%
Yeah, so exactly
self-sufficient.
30%. Instead of just 10% or 3%, they want to go to 30% by 2030.
Oh, wow,
so it's
that's ambitious
30.
goal.
It is, yeah, and I think it's the right step as we protect ourselves and reposition Singapore's position in the whole geopolitical climate where everybody's growing food, but they are feeding the people as well. So if Singapore wants to become a very strong country, both economically and on the defense, they need to really focus on being a lot more food secure as well.
Sustainable, yeah. So you
So
want to show us the
yes,
farm, yeah?
so you've seen the mushroom, you've seen the insect, of course, you've seen the vegetable farm where they use high tech, right? So this is where we use no tech at all, right? Very little technology. So the idea is that we grow all these indigenous local species of produce, things that
they traditionally
yes, it's meant to grow in a country like Singapore without those special high-tech technology.
Right.
They survive very well in our environment. So most of them are herbs and spices, and these are what our grandparents survived on right? Singapore is a very young country, so about 50, 60 years ago, if they wanted vegetables, they'll just go out and pluck it out.
What
if they
is
wanted,
this?
is a tarragon. This is a tarragon herb.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they go very well with fish. Yeah, it's good. All herbs are very medicinal in nature. They give you a lot of
Flavor.
antibiotics and antibodies to combat all your problems. So herbs are not only flavorful, but they're extremely healthy to eat as well. So imagine you have the high-tech vegetables, right? You mix it in with the herbs, then you have a mushroom inside as well.
Yeah.
And then maybe you add in some flowers, right? All these flowers.
These are all edible flowers?
Edible flowers, that's right. And then maybe some daikon. I think I see some daikon growing there as well. And imagine you put all these into a salad. See, that's the local white daikon.
Oh, they're small.
Yeah.
This one.
Yep. Yep, you can just
How do you harvest that?
just come
Teach me,
go
teach
to
me.
the root. So you just go down to the root as close to the soil as possible, and then just pluck them out.
Oh, okay. Is that too small?
Yeah, maybe this one. Yeah. So go down to the root.
Okay.
Correct. Go down as close to the soil as possible.
Okay. Well, I promise that I will get my hands dirty and be a day farmer.
That's good.
So, here we go. Yay! Look at that. That's a beautiful daikon.
Yeah. So all these are ways that we can teach people how to grow and understand how they use the daikon.
Oh, sorry. That's a little bug.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. The city girl.
No
here.
problem. So ultimately, we can have a really nutritious bowl of salad, all that is grown from our land in an urban farm in Singapore for the communities, all the HDB dwellers and all that. That's what the main goal is.
Okay, we have one more question. How long does it take to grow the gem lettuce?
Oh, okay, good question. In a hydroponic environment, it takes about 4 to 5 weeks, depending on how heavy I want to harvest the vegetable. Yeah.
Is it like just ordinary consumers? Is it easy for them to establish a hydroponic system at home?
Yes,
It's
they can.
possible, right?
Yes, they can definitely fix something up themselves. All the blueprint and the knowledge is already online.
Okay.
So you just have to do a bit of hammering and drilling. I'm sure you can fix a simple hydroponic. And most of the materials you can buy online as well.
Right. Okay, thank you so much. I know you have other things to run. Busy farmer, but thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Miro.
Giving
Thank
us
you.
a tour. Thank you. So I will just leave Darren to do his things. I want to talk about. So we talked about the food safety. So we talk about food safety in Singapore, but at the same time, I want to also raise that Singapore has actually all across developed countries there's a problem of food waste. In fact, a third of the food produced are being wasted. So if food waste is a green gas emitter, it will be the third largest country after the United States and China. And Singapore this year has embarked on this national campaign. They designated this year, 2019, as the year towards zero waste. And in this big national campaign, they are talking about reducing electronic waste, food waste, as well as packaging waste. And in terms of food waste, just this month, at the beginning of March, the government announced that from 2024, all the big hotels and malls will have to separate their food waste from other trash. And now this could be good news for urban farmers like Darren. You saw that earlier that he has an insect farm. He has an army of black soldier flies, and there are thousands, gazillions of larvae. They're voracious eaters, and they can chew on those food waste and turn the food waste into something useful, the fertilizers. So it's a very noble idea, and I had a great time. I harvested mushroom. I plucked the daikon. I think that's all I have from an urban farm in the heart of Singapore. Thank you for tuning in.